best. With a little of vanity, what sanity will be cast in half. But I leave them half alive in a basket. And if you know this aftermath, nigga, what you really know about me? On your bitch like clothes, no claws.
Okay, y'all, this is my first video back. I know I've been going for about a month, but had a lot of things to do, like for my sports fundraiser, and you know what I'm saying? So I had a lot of things to do for sports. Alright, y'all, so I had to take a little break, but let's get into the vid. Alright, so this is basically what Naruto was beaten and neglected, you know what I'm saying? So basically, his father and mother, well, no, I ain't gonna start the video off like that. Alright, let's get into it. So Naruto's mom and dad never really paid attention to him as much as they paid attention to his siblings. It was always something like, oh, Naruto, we don't have enough time, we ran out of time, you know what I'm saying? And Naruto would kind of be fed up with that. So he finally stand up for himself one day and say, Mom, Dad, you never have any time to train me. You always train my brother and sister, but never train me. Like, am I not trainable? Am I weak? What's wrong? And then his parents would say, well, Naruto, if you really want to know, and then Minato would say, you don't have to tell him anything, Kushina. You're the parent. And then Kushina would say, yeah. And then Minato would start whipping Naruto, just whipping him with a belt, bro. Just get the bean on him, bro. And then Kushina would join in. She would say, you little piece of, you demon. You always try to think of yourself instead of thinking of your siblings. And they would say, you can never be as good as they were. And that would break Naruto's heart, absolutely, bro. Like, he would just be like, well, since I'm not good enough for you, I'll leave. And then Naruto would leave. Naruto will be wandering the outskirts of the village. And he will come upon, guess what? He would come upon the Uzumaki village. He would say, this is like a place I could stay. And he would see one big house just sitting there like everything else in shambles. He just right there at that one house, you know what I'm saying? And then he would say, is anybody home? And then a tall man with long red hair and Uzumaki and a whirlpool symbol on his headband will open the door. Naruto would say, who are you? The man would say, well, I can tell you if you pass the test. He would then say, what's the test? And then he would put his finger on a cell, and the cell would glow red. And the man would say, my name is Ashura Senju. I am a descendant of the first Ashura Senju, the creator of the Uzumaki clan. Naruto would say, what? He would say, well then why would you... He would say, I need to see if you were Uzumaki or not. We have a lot of enemies. Then Naruto would be like, well, what are you gonna do now? He would say, now that I know you're Uzumaki, I'll take you under my wing, but I need to know why you're here and what your plans for the future are. Naruto would then say, well, my parents neglect me all the time for my siblings. They don't really care about me and what I do, so I can't be wasting my time to care about what they do. And then they would say, all right, so he would say, now give me the real story, like the lowdown story. Let me pause the video. And then the man would say basically, he would say, well, kid, that's pretty crazy backstory, but mine's a little bit crazier. And then Naruto would say, there ain't no way you went through worse enough than that. He was like, well, I got kicked out of my homeland just because I was an Uzumaki. Naruto would say, I feel bad for you. He would say, well, they're going to feel bad for you. Well, they're you're going to feel bad for them after a while. And then Naruto would say, oh, okay. And then the dude would say, well, I can train you. And then Naruto would say, train me in what? He would say, Uzumaki. He would say, you can get a legendary clan summoning. And then Naruto would say, a summoning jutsu? Then the man would say, well, yes. The man would then say, Naruto, it's time to go through your grueling training. The man would give Naruto leg weights and arm weights so he can keep up with his taijutsu. And he would wear those no matter what he's doing. Agility training, ninjutsu, ceilings. You know what I'm saying? He'll make sure, you know what I'm saying, he right. And then Naruto would say, Master, we've been at this for a year non-stop. He would say, oh, no, a year is nothing. You still got a couple more years of this. Naruto would say, a couple more years. He would say, oh, yeah, until the Chunin exams, you're going to be here. He would say, Naruto would say, why? He would say, you're gonna take on the clan legacy and become the new heir of the Uzumaki clan. And then Naruto would say, what? But how am I gonna start a village with just me? He would say, that's why you need to do the training for years. So you can gather an experienced group of people to be beside you through thick and thin. It don't matter if it's a small group. If that group can lead well, they can lead a village. As they only have the Hokage and elders and council members to lead their village. What's different? What's so different from yours? Naruto would say, he would say, dream big. And then dude would say, dream big, young one. Naruto would then say, okay, let's go. And he would do this training for about 4 more years, so he's 13 now. Another student would come to learn from the man, him being the great sage swordsman. The boy's name would be, he would also be an Uzumaki, but his name would be Saruto. And Naruto would say, Saruto, you come to learn from him too? He would say, not everything, just elemental jutsu, taijutsu, and sword techniques. Naruto would say, that's the one thing I did learn from him. And then Saruto would say, well, you're already way stronger than me. Naruto would say, well, not at everything. You're better than me at genjutsu and swordsmanship. He would say, well, I did get all the basics done before I came. And this would be like 2 years into Naruto's training, so he's been met the boy, and Naruto and Saruto be partners in crime. And they would both be 13. Saruto would already accept, he would, when Naruto was about to leave, they were supposed to split up and go on their own journeys, he would literally just say, Naruto, I want to be a right-hand man and lead the village next to you as your brother for life. Naruto would say, I wish my real brother would treat me like this. And then he would say, don't worry about him. Just worry about us and your new village, man. Naruto would say, you mean our new village. And then the boy his heart would just like go up because he was neglected just like Naruto was. And hearing somebody say that, you know what I'm saying, makes a dude feel, you know, like he's worth it. What he's worth, you know what I'm saying. And Naruto, right now, Naruto would be have Anbu level taijutsu, Kage level sealing jutsu. He will have wind, earth, and water chakra. Well, no, he would just have wind. Yeah, he would just have wind and earth chakra natures. And that's pretty much it. Well, and he would be a sage, fox sage, you know what I'm saying, Uzumaki style. Now, the other boy, his name would be, well, he's Saruto, you know what I'm saying? He mastered taijutsu just like Naruto. And he did genjutsu and swordsmanship instead of fuinjutsu and sacred techniques like Naruto. And he would have lightning and fire chakra natures. And both of them would have summons from their village. So it would have basically summonings that are compatible with the owner. So like if you're really weak, you have a weak summoning. Depending on how you what your skill set is and how you fight and how strong you are in that moveset, it's gonna depend on what your summon is gonna be. Naruto will get 3 Wolfpack summons. They're intelligent, can are overall fighters in about every aspect, and are great leaders. Now Naruto's friend will get a giant harpy eagle. And this harpy eagle would have 2 hawks as its co-summonings. Well, it would have 2 hawks. It would be the size of 2 hawk summonings. You know what I'm saying? So Naruto and his homie will be like, yeah, they like that. You know what I'm saying? So they would head to the Leaf Village with Whirlpool headbands on, and then the people from the Leaf would laugh. They would say, "You weren't invited," and then Naruto and Saruto will leak out Bloodless. They would say, "Tell the Hokage to come here. Tell the Hokage we joined in on this action." And then the Hokage would say, "I'll be there right away." Both of them will be a sage, by the way. Well, yeah, both of them will be a sage. And Naruto will have a giant scroll on his back. Now Saruto is a great fighter. You know what I'm saying? That just, you know what I'm saying, helps Naruto. Minato is still the Hokage. And Naruto would say Minma. Before we go here, are you sure it's your dream to follow me? Saruto would say, all I want to do is become the best, strongest swordsman ever. That isn't that hard, is it? Naruto would say, well, not since you already have the executioner blade. Alright, so basically what happened when Team 7 went on a mission to kill Zabuza, Saruto would just kill the dude. Yeah. And they would take his sword. He would say, well, now that I have one sword, there shouldn't be any hassle in getting the rest. Naruto would say, oh, you always think so positive. Even when you have to go up against people like the 7 Ninja Mist Swordsmen. And Saruto would say, your dad's going to be on the way, or you're good. Naruto would say, I'm going to face him like a man. But then, when Minato appears, all Naruto's confidence will fly out the window. He would have a shocked look like he's seen a ghost. He would start having PTSD. He would start to sweat and touch on his body where the bruises were. And he would just be afraid of Minato. Saruto would say, Naruto, step out of it. Naruto would say, what? Saruto would say, see, I knew you haven't got over your fear of your father. Naruto would say, but. Saruto would say, if you weren't strong enough to face him, you should have let it go. He would say, put on the mask of emotions that Ashura-sama taught us. And then Naruto would say, you're right. He would put on his emotions. And then Minato would say, are you still scared, little boy? Naruto would say, who are you? We want to join the Chunin exams under the representation of the Whirlpool Village. And then he would say, there is no Whirlpool Village anymore. It was destroyed years ago. Naruto would say, look, the headbands prove her from some type of village. And the symbol is the whirlpool, so just, knock us in. And then Minato would say, okay, I just want to see you two to get defeated by my children. Naruto would say, oh, those prized little possessions of yours? Yeah, they're not a competition for me or him. And then he would say, okay, wait to see your siblings. Naruto would say, alright, man, sure. Oh yeah, Naruto created a seal similar to the Flying Raijin. You know what I'm saying? He's similar so he can teleport. And Saruto has been working on a jutsu, like the demon of the hidden mist jutsu. Where like Zabuza goes into his demon form and just goes crazy with his sword, you know what I'm saying? But he hasn't learned how to control his bloodlust and stop. So he's out of control. You know what I'm saying? So, Naruto would then he would just say, well, we don't use our new moves until we master them, or it's life or death. Then Saruto would say, you're right. The first battle would be Naruto versus Neji. I'm gonna say he not got knocked out. Naruto versus Neji, and Kiba versus Saruto. Kiba and Neji will be very cocky, saying you two come from a no-name village that doesn't even exist anymore. There's no way you can be more powerful than us. And then Naruto and Saruto would say, you want to bet on it? Kiba would make the first move. He would then chop. He would try to chop Saruto in the neck. Saruto would jump up. Saruto would pull off his Demon of the Mist sword. And he would straight up just start obliterating Kiba. He wouldn't put any harmful cuts on Kiba. He would just put a whole bunch of light cuts, showing how fast he is, showing that Kiba's no match. And the partner would begin to say end the fight. But then Kiba would pull out his Fang over Fang, which Saruto would just block with his sword. And he would just smack Kiba on the head with a blunt part of the sword and knock him out. Then Neji would make a move. He would jump at Naruto and use his palm rotation to hit Naruto in the nose. But Naruto wouldn't feel it. Naruto already has set up traps everywhere using shadow clones. And then he would just start bullying Neji with taijutsu into the traps. Until Neji couldn't move anymore. They would then be declared winners, and both of them would look up at Naruto's dad and wink. Naruto's dad would say, how are they this strong? And it seemed like they were touring around. By the way, Naruto and Saruto would be late exceptions, so they wouldn't do the first or second round. Because, you know what I'm saying, they had to finish all the training. So then Naruto, right before his next fight, which was against his brother, and Saruto would be going up against his sister, his dad would show up next to him, giving him PTSD. And Naruto would walk out looking like he's seen the most horrific thing in his life. And he would just be standing there, the ref would start the fight, and Naruto would just be getting pummeled on. Not being able to fight back because of the PTSD of remembering the scars his father put on him with belts and whips and punches and bruises he put on him. And Naruto would just be like, oh, but I can't. And then he would hear someone's voice. It would say, don't let them stop you. And he would look back in the shadow and he would see Asuna? Oh, Ashura. He would say, you're right. Naruto would then get a beat on his brother. He would collect sage energy using shadow clones like he did in canon. He would get a beat on his brother with just straight taijutsu. His brother would carry the Rasengan. Naruto would hit it with a water sword, well, with a wind sword jutsu. Then he would kick his brother in the side of the head, slamming him into the wall, making a crater. His brother would bounce back out the crater, and Naruto would punch him back into the crater again, making an even smaller crater inside the crater. Then Naruto would kick his brother to the sky, jump up over his brother's back, and slam his brother with two hands into the ground, making a giant crater. And he would look up at his dad and smile. Minato would say, I didn't instill enough fear into him. That would be his Naruto versus Naruto's sister, Naruto. Naruto versus Saruto. Saruto would just, he would punch her in the stomach and she would fall, go back. Then he would kick her in her neck, almost snapping it, sending her into the wall. Then he would punch her in the side again a couple times, making even more craters into the wall. And then she would just say, and then she would not fall out. He would then look at Naruto's dad and smile, and Minato would get in his teeth. He'd be like, these little miscreants coming in here and ruining things up for my children. Then Naruto would be like, well, I can't do anything about that now, can I? What? And then Minato would storm down and he would say, look here, you little whirlpool scum. Get out of my village and never come back. Naruto and Saruto would say gladly, and they'll walk out. Minato would say, what? Naruto would turn around. He would say, you thought we were going to sit right here? Oh, yeah, I got on my PTSD. But you thought we was going to sit over here and beg you to let us stand in tuning exams when we're stronger than everyone here? Minato would say, well, Naruto would say, exactly. You thought we were going to make us stay? I don't care. I don't give one or two fucks about your village. See, I don't care. And then Naruto would walk out. And then Naruto and then he would say, well, he would say, well, you can still fight. They would say, no, we're good. And they would leave the village. They would say, now it's our journey to find new companions. They would then meet two twin girls named Mikasa and Rukasa. Naruto and him would be digging the girls, you know what I'm saying? And they would just be like, well, can we go on a date or whatever? And then they would go to the date, you know what I'm saying? The girls are pretty strong because they assassins, you know what I'm saying? They work with knives and shurikens and junk to kill. And they specialize in long-range tactics. Naruto and Saruto they would just be talking to the girls, and the girls would say, are you brothers? Because your name sounded like and you have the same last name. They would say, yeah, we're brothers, but not real brothers. Brothers by bonds, not brothers by blood. And then they would say, can you tell us your story about your life? We'll tell you ours after. And then they would go through about how both of them were like kicked out of their village or whatever, or in Naruto's case, you know what I'm saying, neglected. And then the girls would say, well, we kind of went through the same thing. Then they would say, what do you mean? The girls would say, we're both Jinchuriki from the Cloud Village. We were split apart at birth to become Jinchuriki for two separate villages, the Cloud and the Mist. When we found each other, we could never be happier to have somebody who feels like they are so connected to us and so connected to each other and just feel loved. You know what I mean? And then both of them look at each other. They would say, yeah, we know the feeling all too well. And then they would say, so we ran away from our villages and have been on the run ever since. Naruto would say, well, you're not alone because I'm a Jinchuriki too. I have the Nine Tails. They would say, do you have a Jinchuriki? He would say, no, I have something inside me though, some cells that were planted inside of me as an experiment. I was one of the people who Orochimaru experimented on and banished from the village. Naruto would say, whoa. Naruto would say, what DNA did you get? He would say, well, actually, I got Hyuga DNA. And I have one Byakugan. I can activate and reactivate. Or activate and turn it off. And then Naruto would say, what? He said, I didn't even know about this. Then he would say, I didn't know until recently. I always knew I had Hyuga DNA, but I didn't know what to do about it. And then Naruto would say, okay. Y'all would say, wow, you two have great backstories. They would say, thanks. Naruto would say, so me and Sarge have a mission. You can go to our house. Here's the address. Here's keys. They would say, you trust us? They would say, Naruto would say, people who have been betrayed or banished by their village and have been through such heartbreak does not need any more betrayal to be sought upon them or sought onto them or away from them. And then they would say, well, I guess. Naruto would then head to hit with Danzo. Naruto would say, I'm going to go fight Danzo for Shisui's eye. And then Naruto would say, I'm going to go to the Hyuga Scroll so I can figure out how to use this Byakugan. And Naruto would say, for sure. They would then go on their separate missions. Naruto would be in and out, easily getting stuff. Having to just knock out a guard or two. But when Naruto fought Danzo, it would be a great battle. Class would win versus win. Basically a win jutsu showdown. Who was the better win user? And Danzo lost horribly. Like, so bad that he almost died every time and had to use an eye when he's Izunagi to come back. Yeah. So then after Naruto, he used his last Izunagi, he tried to use Shishu Eye. And Naruto used his teleportation jutsu, which he put on Danzo earlier, to snatch out Shishu's eye. Naruto would then put the eye in the jar and say, thanks, Danzo. And before Danzo could move, a whole bunch of paper bombs would blow up, killing him. Naruto would smile. Him and Sarato would dip the village. Naruto would then get an implant by some specially paid doctors to put the eye in his left eye, put Shisui's Sharingan in his left eye and cover it. Now, when it came to Sarato, he would learn the Hyuga's technique pretty easily and would adapt it to his fighting style that he already has. And his sword style, he would make his own Hyuga sword style, using the eye's ability to see 360 and through objects to help him bring his swordsmanship to the next level. And then Naruto will say, whoa, that's gross. And then Sarato will say, I know, right? Such a great ability. But then Naruto and the girls would start to talk. You know what I'm saying? It would be like, well, they would just be like, well, we like you guys and we want to be your girlfriends. And then Naruto would say, yeah, you can be my girlfriend. I want to be a boyfriend. And then Naruto would say something like that. And they were going to Mikasa and Rukasa. Naruto and Saruto will start to build up the village, doing flourishing, making the old man Ashura dream flourish. And Ashura would have just been moving around lately, not trying to stay in the same spot. And he would come check up on them extra every once in a while, but this time has been especially long. It's been 3 years, and they've been worried that he's died. But then the village will become somewhat functional, and they will be giving out missions and whatnot like regular village, but they wouldn't have everything planned out. And when Ashura saw this, he went nuts. He would go straight to the building, and once Naruto and Saruto saw him, you know what I'm saying, they'll be so happy that they'll just jump up and hug him and just be like, we missed you, man. We missed you, Dad. And then he would say, I miss you too. And then it would say, well, you're back. How do you like the village? He would say, Naruto, Saruto, y'all did an excellent job, but let me see the council. The council would have them two, their 2 wives, and some other clan leaders, like some of the Stray Uchiha and Hyuga, who weren't connected to the Leaf, and some assassins and whatnot from other villages would come, and if you were raiding another village, that's what you're raiding in his village. Then, you know what I'm saying, they would just say, well, how do you like it? And then Ashura would say, well, you two are almost there to the big dream. Naruto would say, almost, we have a village. We're leading it perfectly. He would say, well, do you have the best village? And Naruto would say, you're right. And Naruto and Ashura pull up to the Kage summit, just them two. Naruto and his brother / guard, Saruto. Everybody would look at him having one guard and they would laugh. They would say, if you're going to sneak in, you could at least brought more help. Naruto would say, I don't need it. And then Kurama would say, do I need to scare him for you? Yeah, he would say, do your worst, Kurama. And then Kurama's bloodless chalk would be leaking out. And Naruto would show them his cubey eyes. He would say, do we have a problem? They would say, no, you don't. Then Naruto would say, do y'all think there's anything wrong with my way of leading? Naruto would say, not really. It's just I don't think you give people enough time to grow and flourish. And just I believe you're too judgmental, especially when it comes to quick judgments. Y'all take nothing into factor. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, bro. I gotta pause this. I'm gonna sleep as fuck, but I do not need to go to sleep. Alright. Then Ashura would say, your hands. And he would close his eyes in his bed. And Naruto and Saruto would start to cry, saying, no, why do you have to leave us? Why do you have to leave us so soon? We didn't have enough time. And then Saruto would say, watch over us from the heavens. Both of them would be so sad. And they would say, we're going to keep running this village just like he would have wanted it. And then they would keep running the village. And a year later, both of them had kids. Naruto kid would be named Boruto. And Saruto's kid name would be Saruto Jr. And then And then they would have a meeting with other Kage, and they would say, we want allied with other nations. And the Leaf would say, we're off the table. Having Sasuke and Minmo be their new Kage. Naruto would say, okay. And then they would sign, you know what I'm saying, a alliance with the Snow Samurai and the Sand Village. And you know what I'm saying, they'll talk over things with Gaara, you know what I'm saying? Talk over stuff with the Samurai Queen. And they'll get it right, you know what I'm saying? So after that, we would then just be like chilling, you know what I'm saying? And then, but then both their kids be kidnapped. And Naruto and Minmu would have to find them. They were chasing through every village, searching through every corner. They would even put up missing posters and reward money. People in the Leaf were conspiring to snitch on the people who stole the child for the money, but then they thought about the consequences after, so they just kept their mouth shut. Once they went to the Leaf, and Sasuke and Memo would say, ha ha, surprise, what brings you here? They would say, don't play dumb, where's our kids at? And then they would say that they're down there with Naruto. And Naruto would say, what do you want? He would say, all I wanted was one thing. And one thing only. I just wanted an alliance. Naruto, you know what this means, don't you? He would say, what? He would say, soon as we get our children back, it's war. They would then go chop Naruto on the neck and take their kids. Once they got back, they would say we were in full scale to war on the Leaf for kidnapping our children. Then their wives, Mikasa and Rukasa, would just say, do whatever you feel like is best. And then the Leaf would march. They would hear the marching. Thud, thud, thud. And then, after the last thud, they would just say, man, dang it. We can't beat these two monsters. And they would keep pushing forward, knowing that if they didn't fight, they were probably going to get in trouble with their Kages. And Naruto's front line, he would have Winjutsu users blowing gusts of wind everywhere. And they would just, shred the front lines. But then Momo and Sasuke would come out. They would have a great duel battle. Naruto and Momo would use their summoning jutsu to attack. And it would be taking out many people. I mean, a lot of people. And they would eventually take down Sasuke and Minmo with a combined attack called Great Devourer Hellfire Jutsu. And it will be a giant majestic destroyer flame jutsu backed up by a magical wind. Magical gust jutsu. Making it amped up like way more, and it will burn through the Konoha shinobi. Then and their wives will be taking out the back of the army easily. They would then keep attacking. They would keep attacking until there was nothing left to do. And they would win the war. Naruto and his brother would then go back to reflect on their life. We went from having nothing, being abused, beaten, neglected, and straight up exiled from our villages, to being trained by our father, Ashura, to meeting our great wives, girlfriends, and baby mothers, to creating a village, having the most powerful village, and winning a war. Our lives weren't so meaningless after all. We made what we could out of what we had. And that's the real victory in life. Doing whatever you can to succeed and push through your limits. And this Naruto would say, yeah, bro, let that sink in. I know Ashura would be proud of us. And Ashura would just be looking down at heaven saying, you two did a great job. You know what I'm saying? That's the end of this video. Catch you guys later, you know what I'm saying? And, you know what I'm saying? And we gonna be lit. You know what I'm talking about? Catch you guys later.
For best, the little vanity, what sense do we cast it? Half what I leave them half alive in a basket. And if you know this aftermath, nigga, what you really know about me? When your bitch like clothes, no claws.